Good morning, everyone. Hey, Gary, Michael, Delaney, Mark, Jason, PBJ. It's good to see all of you. Hello, Winnie, Sarah May. Happy Friday, everyone. Hey, Catherine, just Samantha. It's one of the most disturbing cases I've come across in her journal detailing the abuse. Oh my God. Hell is awaiting her arrival. Amen. Karian, those poor children of hers. This is horrible. Hey, Nicolina. PB&J, that little hero, is actually facing death. Oh, the sad, when I seen the journal entries, which it sounds like many of you have seen as well, I was just jaw dropped at it, and it reminded me so much of Valo, Doomsday, right? Like it was whatever was in their head, whatever was, their religious beliefs led them there. Is last night's live private now? It is, Caroline. It is. Hey, One Red Rose, Miss Liverbird. Oh, it is Good Friday. That it is. Thank you, Mark. This case has me actually cry. It was horrible. I don't even think hard is the definition. What happened to your live stream? I should say, coward. Why'd you hide it? You know why I hid it? The crime of it. So pieces of shit like you and the people you roll around with have to make their own content. That's why, AJ. Why'd you hide your channel, coward? See how that works, dum dum. For somebody who cries and says they're getting off the internet to go under their alter ego channel and call somebody else a coward. Anyway, this is about a serious case. This isn't about your hurt ego, okay? All right. Bye bye. Hey, Jude. 20 months, One Red Rose. Wow. Thank you so much. Hey, Stay Low. I did watch it, PB&J. It was unbelievable. Hey, Fixing a Snap. I mean, the audacity, Delaney, it's the audacity. Like, where's your channel? So, this was actually one of the saddest things, and we're not going to be distracted by pieces of crumb like that. That's what they always do, Jason. That's what they always do. Hey, Chris. Good morning. Christy A, good morning to you. So we are going to go ahead and help you take your time out that you said you need because you couldn't handle the, I don't know, backlash you're not getting. Have a great day. Remind yourself next time, AJ, that when somebody's on a serious topic, don't come in here about you. That is ridiculous. It is gross. It is very telling to who and what you are. There's a time and place, and clearly you have never learned. Anyway, yeah, I don't think they'll ever be the same. Can you imagine if the neighbor said hi to the little guy? Hey, let's call your mom and not the police. Well, what really makes me sad about it is that when the little boy did get to the neighbor and he said, I've two favors. One, can you take me to the nearest police station? That's because he decided that jail would be better than what he was in. So he wanted the police not to turn in his mother, but to turn himself in. That poor little boy believed that he was going to end up in jail. This is horrible. Probably to try to fix the false information, Mark, or the harmed reputation, if you will. He was very polite. Even when they said what's going on, he said family business, So we're going to quickly get into that because I just saw something else going down that I found to be very entertaining that I want to get into. Raj on the videos, I believe that too. Yeah, he wrote in the rocks. Yep. He wrote in the rocks, jail. Hey, Christy. Happy Friday. It was horrible. The whole thing was horrible. Let me get this up. Can you imagine what type of future hell this will put on him? I've been a long time snarker on A pastures. Ruby is not sorry at all. She's not October Shug. You're right. And you know what's creepy? Her husband. Her husband threw the jail call saying he'll do whatever to keep the family secrets. And the fact that the children were handed right back over to him. Oh my goodness, that makes me so sick. She said, whatever to get out of trouble. She knows what she's doing. All right, so let's pull these up really quick. What's really sad is they redacted a lot of it. And a lot of what was, I mean, if what wasn't redacted is as horrible as it is, what do you think about what was redacted? You know what I mean? That's like it's the scariest thought. For example, all of this black is redacted. So 5/21/23, Jody receives blessings from Temple President Steve Kaplan. 5/22, Ruby, AJ, R&E, Jody's to help. Oh, come down to Jody's to help spring clean. And then on the 28th, they're to meet Jeremy. 6/13, Judy goes to SLC to meet Jeremy and Brad. 6:30, refuses to do wall sits. He says he is done. Refuses to do. Oh, absolutely, Dick Tim. And it's a shame that they didn't take it serious. Well, I don't know what's sadder. The fact that all the prior CPS and complaints were ignored, or the fact that they received so many they began to ignore. You know what I mean? Like, where people call in when it was necessary, where they call in just out of hatefulness because it's YouTube. So R refuses to do wall sits. Wall sits. Do you know how hard that is to do? Mm. R is to stay outside, sleep outside, only come into the bathroom and shower. If anybody would like to come up, you're welcome to come up. Only come in. He's to stay outside, sleep outside like a dog. Like a dog. Hey, B. Unbelievable. A little boy. E refuses to work, screams, has her hair shaved off. On 7/14, they shaved off her hair. I get it, just Samantha. I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can and then move on to a lighter topic. I can't believe, Christy, the idea that they can possibly be out in 4 years. Hey, pick a lover. 4 years. Runs away. R runs away around 1:15 a.m. Ruby finds him at 3:14 a.m. He got away for 2 hours on 7:15. In the middle of the night, that baby ran. Oh my gosh. Hey, Christine. Jody, E, and J drive to Arizona and find property, land to isolate. Oh my goodness. Look, all redacted. That's how bad this all was. That is redacted. On July 9th, Sunday, R turns 12 tomorrow. I never envisioned him being 12 and still poop and peeing himself. Still poop and peeing himself. Hey, Shaby. Hey, Cass. Satanic choices lead one to become destitute, even in the most influential homes. July 10th. It's R's birthday, and he doesn't even know what month it is. Well, what? Oh my goodness. E and R have been in so much defiant behavior, they won't control their bodily functions. They are both, I don't know what that says, their selfish, sinful lifestyle and is being intervened upon. I told R he emulates a snake. He slithers and sneaks around looking for opportunities when no one is watching, and then he scurries. If he wants to emulate the Savior, he needs to be obedient with exactness, no wavering, no hiding. The poor kid was trying to live. Hey, Spitfire. The poor kid was trying to live. That's it. He was trying to escape the abuse. Our lies. I mean, all the time. He is a compulsive liar. I never would have suspected this entire experience. I would have never expected this entire experience is a shock to my system. Or I never would the cold, suspected the cold, dead heart R has. Didn't know where to look. He has always been able to get what he wants, and now that he can't, he is furious. She's saying her baby has a cold, dead heart. I'm pretty sure the father's fighting for them or has them and he shouldn't. His whole body was, Joe Madre. Hey, grubby goat. His whole body. I told him if he divulged everything, he would automatically begin repenting. I asked if there was. Redacted. I told R that he needs God. I invited him to fast and pray. R is in and out of possession. He is workable and calm for a bit, then angry and defiant the next. The only consistent thing about R is that he lies. E is better behaved with Jody. She likes to think she can still manipulate me. I gave her a pixie haircut. All her long hair is gone. No more distracting with hair. Can you imagine this little girl pleading, trying to find her mother within this newfound version of her? She's not being defiant. She's begging for the mommy. She's begging for the mom she once had. Oh my goodness. R told me he would rather have a glass of water than me as his mother. Amen, R. Straight up telling her to her face. This is so sick. 7/11/23. Big day for evil. E manipulates me. She won't scream when Jody is around, but with me, she wails all night. E screamed, cried, and would hit her head on the tile floor. These kids were living in a prison. These kids were living in a hell. This is the sickest thing. And I do appreciate you guys being here for it because I know it's not easy. Today, Jody confronted her. Ian missed her putting on a show for her mother. What little girl says, sorry, sorry, I was just putting on a show? Nobody, no little girl speaks that way. E says she wants to be pitiful. R was told to stand in the sun with his sun hat. He is defiant. No. I tell him a couple more times. Or I should say, his demon stays in the shade. I push R into the sun. R comes back. I come back with a cactus poker. Fucking cactus poker. Oh my gosh. When I poke his back to get in the sun, R doesn't even flinch. I poke him on the neck. He is in a trance and doesn't appear to feel anything. Jody taps him on the cheeks to wake him up. Do you hear that? Are you reading that? He was so mentally and emotionally exhausted at that point that he put himself into a trance to escape the reality. That's what I'm hearing. The devil doesn't like when you get your subject to agree to truth. R, do you know I love you? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Holy fuck. Haven't listen, I know there are parents that have their children call them ma'am, sir, but all the time. I don't know. Let's look. I have never even heard of it. Cactus poker. Nothing even comes up when you search it. I'm assuming it's an actual cactus that they would poke with, but I don't know. Do you know E. Joe loves you? Yes, ma'am. Do you know the Savior loves you? Yes, ma'am. R wants out of his outcomes. After our talk, R stays in the shade. I take my old mop water and go to R. I show R the water. Then I pour the water on R. It's hot outside. It feels good, doesn't it? Yes. An hour later, and Joe take R on a little walk to the pool. She talks on how R has love twisted. If R likes something someone does, he calls it love. If he doesn't, he thinks it's not loving. Jody then pushed R into the pool. R swam to the side and Joe pulled him out. Feel good? Refreshing? Yes, ma'am. I went out a couple hours later, asked if he wanted the pool again. Now, mind you, they're in the desert sun. I did see that, Love and Laundry. Thank you. Yes, Love and Laundry says, please note that Jody's niece disclosed all the same abuse tactics done to them over 10 years prior. They're in the blazing hot desert sun. I went out a couple hours later and asked if he wanted the pool again. Yes, ma'am. Will you let me push you in? R laughed. Then tried not to act too excited. R cooled off and went back to his spot. I put my hands on his face. R, have you ever heard someone talk underwater? Yes, ma'am. I know R is in there somewhere. I know deep down, under all this anger, you can hear me. May sound like I'm underwater with you, but hear me. I love you. R got teary. Oh my God, this kid was gaslit. My son's going to turn 12 in June, and I could never fathom him ever going through something like this. This is absolutely horrific. And as she's trying to speak into him and say, I know you're in there somewhere, he's probably looking at his mom like, where are you? Where are you at? Oof. Then I put my hand tightly over his nose and mouth. I am coming to get you in this water and put my hands on your nose mouth. The devil lies and says I'm hurting you, abusing you. But R, what am I really doing? So she knew. She held his mouth and nose. She knew she was abusing him because she says it right there, but it was the devil. Lord have mercy. You were putting oxygen on me to help me breathe. Yes, that's right. R voiced like he wanted to beat me up this morning, and then he was intrigued and interested. And then 2 hours later, he drinks water from the hose. He steals water. He stole water. This little boy stole water from the hose. R is compulsive. He feels no remorse for his choices. He shuts down and says he wants to go to jail. R says he worships the devil and has no interest in changing. I want the outcome of being changed, but I don't want to do the work that it requires. That's what this not even 12-year-old boy's saying. R doesn't actually know what jail means. He has no comprehension what throwing your life away means. He just wants the immediate gratification of sitting in the air conditioning car ride to juvie. He wants stimulars. Now you're in jail, bitch, and I bet he does know what it means. This baby said he'd rather go to jail, and she says, "Oh, he just wants the air conditioning on the ride to juvie." He at that point, that baby is ready to throw away everything to get away from her. Everything. R is so back and forth. just like you as his mother. At one part, he's looking at this lady he always thought he knew for basically everything. They were hardly allowed to breathe. He would have died. Yes, he would have. R stole water. He was angry and looked like he wanted to fist up. I put my hands on, I guess, his shoulders and told him I love him. I told him he has no idea what he's doing, but I do. I can help him. I told him, give your demon friend a message from me. I will not rest. I will not stop. I will not leave. When I will fight him until the day you die. Yeah, until the day he dies. She was going to kill this baby. She was going to kill her kids. I have the power of God and he must obey. I beat Satan. I win. Then I looked in R's eyes and with the power and authority commanded, get out now, go. R immediately smiled, cried, slumped, softened. He's gone. He's left. Oh my gosh. He tried to put on an act. He tried to put on an act to convince his mother that the demon was gone. I believe he does, Laura Holmes, and he shouldn't. I took E&R on a car drive to the Shriver's gas station. I told E she was never going home. I showed her pictures of her on the swing under the big tree. She saw a girl who was hiding, who enjoyed tricks. I told her I saw a daughter of God with divine worth. E manipulated during the car drive. R appeared to soften. He manipulated. He probably thought his mom believed him that the demon was gone and he was going to go back to living a normal life. I stopped the car and we all got out to view the sunset. I told E she needs to stop her fantasy. She's not innocent. She can become innocent through repentance. Don't waste more time. How old was E? Not even 10? Thank you that doesn't. Okay, thank you. Because I know in the jail call, he said, I'll do whatever to keep our secrets. Arnie had been counting days. R did know yesterday was his birthday. Remember up further, she said that R didn't know it was his birthday? Here, the whole time he knew it was his birthday. This is redacted. E told me she figures they had been here 8 weeks. I asked E if she felt like she had made progress over the 8 weeks. Yes. I told her she was delusional. Oh my gosh. She has made no progress. She continues to lie and manipulate. Last night, her screaming and head banging were evidence of no change. At her young age, she was trying to self-harm to get out of there. So much. July 12th. Took the kids on a 4-hour car ride. We stopped at the Gunlock Lake and I shared my love for them. We watched a baby cow get loose and walk into the road in front of us. I made the analogy of the not so wise calf to them. I was keeping them safe when they want to run in the road. We drove up to Vail. I bought a volcano pie. I told the kids the pie was to thank Jody for her home, care, and time. R appeared engaged. He was manipulative. This is the day E anticipates breaking her 2-day fast. For 2 days, that little girl did not eat for 2 days. And her mom takes them to buy a volcano pie. What is a volcano pie? Like a mud pie? Yeah. Imagine how hungry these kids were. Hey, Buttercup. Manipulative. When we got home to Jody's, I let R know she has hardened her heart and will do one more day of fasting to invite her to humble. 3 days of not eating. She refuses to get up. She probably can't. She lives on the floor all day, speaking dishonest chants. I don't know if I want you to envision or I don't. But you got this tiny, petite little girl with all her hair shaved off, with no energy, laying on the ground, just speaking gibberish, I guess. Just who knows? She's probably saying, "Help me." Because Jody is on the phone with clients, I don't go in and match her level of aggression. Oh, oh, because Jody's on the phone, you knew not to go in and be as aggressive because the clients might hear that. Ah, okay, you bitch. All day E makes rhymes about my mom starves me, calls it fasting. My mom won't lift a finger and bring me food because all she does is lie on the bed and eat brownies. My mom says she is the most loving mom in the world, blah blah blah. If I can't ever go home, then what's the point of being obedient? I'm going to run away. Oh my gosh, that is the most saddest thing I've ever read. Jody helped me intervene after work. Pattern, allowing lies to be spewed, gives the devil a platform. Articulating lies reinforces possession. The longer the lies are allowed to be spewed, the longer the intervention and physical the intervention needs to be. The longer and more physical the intervention needs to be. I cut off more of E's head. We doused her with water in the dog wash. E says she wanted to run away. Jody told E she has no idea what is awaiting for her. That's completely understandable. Hell, I still get up and pour my kids a drink if they ask me to. Hey, Jor. All of this is redacted, so imagine how horrific it was. On the 13th, I may have forgotten to write this on the 11th. I took R's face in my hands and spoke to him through blank. Love you. I told him to send the demon a message for me. I will not give up. I will not leave. I am going nowhere. Get out. R released the demon, and he has been very workable ever since. This morning, the 13th, R broke his fast with brown rice, lentils, black beans, chicken, and water. A hornet kept buzzing around his chicken. I told R to think of the hornet as Satan. Would you become pals with Satan? Would you sell your soul and your children to a hornet? He will sting you in the end. R trapped the bee with his sun hat. This is insane. E broke her fast with cheesy potatoes, steak, I don't know what that is, water, oatmeal, and water. R is full of piss and vinegar. She is mad as a hornet. She doesn't call the shots. It's been about 90 minutes since R ate. I warned him that food would either energize him to truth or defiance. He is defiant again. He pooped his pants and telling me no. His poop is too watery to be fasting. R admits to stealing water 3 times yesterday. R lies and feels no remorse. E is cheating. Oh my gosh, they weren't even allowed to have water. No, not in Holda's account. He wasn't even allowed to have water. living outside in the desert. He wasn't allowed to have water. He stole water. Oh, these selfish, selfish children who desire only to take, lie, and attack have zero understanding of God's love for them. They don't know Jody is selling her home, this priceless couple $1 million home, priceless Snow Canyon gem, so she can purchase land where these two can work. So that bitch Jody was going to sell that property to buy land to slay these kids to death. To death. I can't believe they're like looking at 4 years. I can't believe it. Oh, Jody has been looking for property with Zorro Cactus and is feeling more imminent the need to get these kids to open land. She is willing to consider less than ideal property for them. This is a spiritual matter. I can't in good faith leave you with these two gremlins. These two gremlins, you fucking bitch. I hope somebody in the jail gets these pigs. I do. I hope somebody in the jail gets these pigs and they never see the light of day again. You know what? Matter of fact, I wish instead of even sending these pieces of shit to jail, we do to them what brought them there. If you murder a child, you should be murdered in the same format. If you abuse children this way, you should face the rest of your days living through that same abuse. Let's stop putting these people into a cot and 3 meals a day, and we pay for it. Jail is good to some, absolutely. And you know what's even worse? These two idiots, these two slobs, these two sick, demented, abusive pieces of shit. They'll be protected in jail. Yep, that's right. They will be isolated and protected. Uh-huh. Who protected these kids? You know what? Throw the father in too, you fucking crumb. Sorrows don't matter when souls are on the line. 1 hour later, we move quickly. Jody and Jay are going on a road trip to look at property in Arizona. Ruby has some cash in the bank. Ruby has, why are you talking about yourself in third person? You're fucking weird. If the property is right, we can move on financing immediately. We decided the escalation of the kids is not manageable here. Now, R is now sitting, angry, defiant. He is lying on the floor. We will bring them in. R, I will clean up out in the desert as he has pooped himself. He will then stay and sit on the patio, shaded. Now I'll see him from the kitchen. E, I will bring into the cool house and she can sit in the pantry. They will think they won. They will think they got what they wanted. They will relax. Then, pop! We will drop them like hot potatoes out in the desert, their new home. You're going to get exactly what you asked for. Oh my gosh. She was literally plotting against her own children. I'm going to make them feel like they're safe, like we should, like our kids should be. I'm going to let him sleep out in the shade. I'm going to put her in the pantry. And then when they're least expecting, I'm going to drop them off in a fucking desert. Obsessional force is required for growth development, maturity. E and R have never experienced obsessional force. They are very weak minded. He was strong enough to say he'd rather go to jail than be with you. He was strong enough to look you in your face and say he hates you. It should be attempted murder. Okay, this one's upside down. Sending evil away in a long time possessed person is not a one and done deal, usually. These wicked spirits in ENR have been pals long before this life. How ENR got to come get a body can only be experienced, and I can't read it. It's upside down. I'm sure it's horrific. The Savior used in his interactions, go sell all you have and follow me. And you know what's sick about this? She doesn't even realize still that she is the demon. She is the devil. Go and sin no more. Go wash 7 times. Go and tell no one. Go preach my gospel. Go feed my sheep. If you can engage a weak minded soul in a physical activity of obedience, you can begin to break the bond Satan made with the weak. Physically stop the acting out behaviors and begin physically doing good. You know what makes me sick? Did anybody else hear? Hey, Penny Positive. This is Ruby Frank. She had a YouTube channel where she exploited her kids, 8 passengers. When it was stated that Ruby went ahead and pled guilty, the attorney had the audacity to say that she did that so the children wouldn't have to go on trial. Like this bitch gave a shit about her kids. She treated them worse. That people don't even treat animals this bad. Like farmers give more compassion to the pigs they're raising to eat. Physically stop the acting out behaviors and begin physically doing good. Farm work, lifting boxes, exerting energy, exercises, jump rope, milking cows, weed in a garden, digging trenches. This is what these 2 kids at just about 12 and 10 years old were made to do all day. Begin doing sweating for good. Heavy physical intensity capture your attention. The problem for ENR is the hard labor is all for the sake of lifting does not have meaning or do good. We need property where a ranch can be built, good can be done, outcomes of prosperous choices can be seen, experienced, and felt. And the kids need a good kick from a horse and a cactus to run into. Holy fuck, she's not even kidding. She's not kidding. They need a good a good kick from a horse. You know how strong a horse can kick? And a good push into a cactus. A push into a cactus. They need natural outcomes. I asked R what he was thinking about since he was sitting in the shade and he had what he wanted. R answered, what I want. Because remember, at this point, she's tricking them. She's letting them think that they got what they want by offering them shade and air conditioning. Me, what do you want? R, more different foods and a soft bed. Oh my gosh. He just wanted food and a bed. Why don't you ask Satan? Do you think Satan will give you these things? No. Why not? Because he doesn't have the power. Why would you serve a God who has no power to give you your desires? Dumb. R was silent. She was tormenting him. Tormenting him. Blank had another episode with demons. She gives herself to them. She agreed to stop being deceptive with her facial expressions and crying and whining. Deceptive with her facial expressions. These kids weren't even allowed to do anything. Everything they did was criticized. If they laid down, if they made the wrong face, if they cried. Whining is the devil's voice. Whining is always a demon. Blank hurt facial expressions blame me for her misery. It is E at the center of her misery. Her face is deceptive. After E did stairs, that's where she had to walk up and down stairs. She sat on the park bench looking at the mountain views. She was told to sit and be still and eat her dinner. Carrots, hummus, grilled cheese, water. E, in a power play, brought her empty plate to the door and removed her sun hats. E woke up. I reminded her that if she whined, cried, or squinted her eyes at me, or soured her face, I would be buzzing her hair. If she was going to act sick, she can look sick. She agreed with a smile. I told her because she didn't listen the night before, she would do 2 sets of boxes stairs with a 5-minute break. They had to go up and down stairs carrying boxes full of books. Starving, tired, weakened. She did the first set easy and agreeably. After 5 minutes of rest, she began whimpering. When she got to the bottom stairs, she slipped and dropped the box. I put her in the dog wash and shaved her head, then back to the boxes. So because she slipped from being weak, she got put into a dog wash where her head was shaved. Take away any, oh my gosh. E, yes, ma'am, with tears. Me, it's heavier than boxes, right? Yes, ma'am. E, I can help you find relief. You have told so many lies about me that you refuse to be obedient. Why do you keep being buddies with Satan? Remember, the lies were, my mom doesn't love me. She's starving me to death. Those were the lies. That this baby was singing tunes. I don't want to work, she says. This 10-year-old girl. Don't you see it's because you follow Satan that you keep doing boxes? If you were humble, you would be inside making pancakes with Blank and me. E agreed to sit on the park bench and think about her choices. I made it very clear if she were to move, get up, fidget, talk, take her hat off, she would go back to work. E agreed eagerly. She promised to be obedient. So she promised to sit as still as she could, just to have a break from physical activity. Thank you, B. That's it. Just have a break from physical activity. Oh, that wasn't good enough. She promised to be obedient. After an hour on the bench, Eve began moving and looking around. I pulled her into the house and gave her more boxes. So you imagine that. An entire year of sitting, an hour. And you got the despicable mother probably staring out the window looking for any little movement. After an hour of sitting as still as she could, she moved a little bit and she goes out there and says, back to work. You moved. You moved. Hell, I'm 35 and I can't sit still. Now to R. Me, you like sleeping on the hard ground? I slept in a soft bed. He responds, I slept really well. Good, good for you. Good for you. I love the fact that he keeps pushing back at her. Good for you, sick bitch. Me, you are mean. Do you enjoy being mean? Oh, he's the mean one? He's the mean one? You just told him you slept in a nice soft bed while he slept on the hard ground. He responds back, yes, ma'am. Good for you. Me, do you expect me to feed you? Yes. Me, I got big over him. So now she gets all tough, right? She's towering over this little fragile boy's face. I got tough over him. I will feed R. I will not feed a demon. So I will check on you in a bit. If you want food, then be prepared to tell the truth about your behaviors. Tell the truth of who I am. He didn't fall for the gaslight. Is that what they were, Mormon? An hour later. You ready? No, ma'am. So you would rather have no food and worship the devil? Yes, ma'am. How brave is that little boy? He basically said, fuck you in the ultimate way. You're evil, and I won't say otherwise. Because he knew his innocence at his age, knew that he was in the right, that he was true, that he was telling the truth, and he wasn't going to be convinced otherwise. E does one set of books decently. 10-minute break. E, upset to do boxes, gets them done. Sits on park bench, 1 minute, then picks Jody's blossoms off plant, defiant. More boxes. She refuses to go to sleep on the basement floor. Oh, wait. So the little girl picks flowers. And because of that, she's defiant. She's given more boxes. She refuses to do them. So they make her go sleep on the basement floor. R, stand up. Stop picking your nose. The kids both pick their nose until they bleed. Distraction. Huh. You know why they were picking their nose? Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Me, you happy? R, no. Following Satan doesn't make you happy? Shocker. So Satan can't feed you? Who is supposed to feed you? God and Christ. This is a game you play. Who brings you food? You. You want to leave the demons? I don't want to humble. So worshiping God wasn't good enough. They were supposed to worship her. Gene, that's like with every religion, to be fair, you know? There's always an extreme side of everything. I told Blank I wanted to give him dinner with chicken. He needs to acknowledge his behaviors. He tells me he is missing his opportunity to repent. This is not acknowledging his behaviors. I tell R he is treating me and Jody the way he believes he really deserves to be treated. Blank, 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 blank. I bring him dinner of brown rice, beans, lentils, and water. He takes the bowl and begins eating. I say, no, thank you. Are you going to acknowledge the woman you've been abusing just brought you dinner? Like it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be the mother. It's a privilege to feed. Okay, Jason. Or, well, I would say thank you, but I wouldn't really mean it. Oh my goodness. You know what's really sad? One, that he has the courage to continue to tell his truth, right? But then on the other hand, he is beaten for not being truthful. But because his truth doesn't match her truth, it's not what she wants to hear. But he continues to say it. I love that for him. I hate it that he gets abused for it, but I do love that for him. Look over here. Imagine going from this to what we're reading here. Imagine going from this to what we're seeing here. Ooh. With that, I reached down and grabbed his dinner and water and said, "Wow, wow." R tried going back on what he said with some explanation. I stopped him. "I will not talk with a demon. Your soul is damned, and I will not hear your damnable words. Straight to bed." E had started walking stairs without a box. She is now slipping, falling on purpose. She was so weak. She was weak. She was weak, and when she fell from being weak, she now was doing it intentionally. When E was outside today, it was hot. She acted like she was dying. So pitiful. She acted like she was dying. She was dying. So pitiful. I told her, "E, the heat in hell is much hotter, and God is going to burn the wicked. So either get used to it or start changing." E responds, "I don't really believe that's actually going to happen." So despite the abuse, despite it all, she kept her senses to say, "I don't believe that's going to happen." Kids are all in bed. E ate mashed potatoes and turkey's milk. Jody and Jay are looking at RV trailers. These kids have no idea the sacrifice is being made for them, or Jesus' sacrifice already made. Now we're on the 15th. There are days and nights that reveal God's most poignant mercies and miracles. Last night, God gave me a miracle, and I absolutely will never forget. I know when God gives you an errand and you do the best you can to fulfill it, He will protect you. I went to bed around 12:10 a.m. E on the floor next to my bed, R on the patio outside my sliding glass window. Like a dog, he was sleeping and treated like a dog. Oh man, just writing this, I am shaking it. If Pam hadn't intervened to take A to American Fork for her ACT test, I don't know, ALT test, then I would not have been here. And my life and Jody's and my family's would forever be different. So again, it's because that Pam bitch. Isn't Pam, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, isn't Pam the one that had the two other girls there to clean? Put a one in the chat if you know, if I'm correct. I don't know why that bitch isn't arrested too. At 2:45 a.m., I woke straight out of bed. You know why? Because I was close to the hour of the devil, and you're the devil, bitch. I want to write her letters. I want to write letters. Oh, I'd love to torment her. Absolutely, New Jersey Robin. Straight up. I couldn't see R. He was gone. I opened the sliding glass door, and there was no sight of him. He did leave an arraignment of rocks and letters and words. He wrote me a message. Too scared, I forgot how to read. I ran to Jody's room and woke her up. She came out with me. The message said, in Pebbles, jail. I will call when I get there. Oh my God. Because they said to him, would you rather be here or in jail? Oh, I will call when I get there, he says. Jody and I scored the house and yard. Jody got flashlights. Jody and Blank took her car, and I got Blank up and went in mine. Oh God, oh Father, we need a miracle. We need your help now. Send the host of heavens. Show us where Blank is. Please, please, Father, answer how? Answer now. I've done everything you've asked. Protect me, protect Jody, protect us. Protect from what? What does she need protection from? What do you need protection from? You were doing no wrong. Why would you beg for God to protect you and Jody? That's bizarre. Because she knew she was wrong. Oh, that is sick. Oh, thank you for asking, Buttercup. Yeah, he wrote in rocks. Rocks. Um, I heard in my head, go right. I went left and all the way to the roundabout on the main street. So your head said go right, but you went left. You're a dumb bitch. To rule it out and make sure he hadn't reached the main road yet. No sign of R. I turn back to go down and dip and then turn right. Father, 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 hear me now. I go right, then right again. This road doesn't look familiar. I speak up to cover as much road as I can, race in the sun, race in the devil. Then I see R walking on the left side of the road. I call Jody to let her know. I turn the car around and stop. I get out of the car. R is shocked to see me. Get in the car. You shocked to see me? R nods his head and gets in. Blank in the back, me and R in front. 2:45 I wake up. 3:08 we leave in cars. 3:14 a.m. I call Jody with R. The sun started lighting the roads just an hour and a half later. The devil wants me in prison. The devil wants me in prison. So she knew what she was doing was wrong. She knew what she was doing was wrong. Holy fucking shit. Hey, Okie. Hey, nonsense. She knew she would go to jail for this, and she stands before them and tells them, I want to get rid of my evil ways. Thank you so much, Buttercup. He escaped and they got him. Oh, the poor kid. My children dead. I meet Jody back home. We deliberate in the car while R and E go back to while L and E go back to bed. R stands in the garage where we can see him. He has zero remorse, zero fear, zero expression. He is cold, calloused, and hard. He's done with life. This kid is done. Angry, he isn't calling the shots. Jody and I agree to buy ourselves time until we have more of an environment conducive to an intervention. We need land. The spirit told Jody very clearly, don't let these kids' choices ruin your life. We have work to do. You can force repentance to de-escalate the situation. I brought R into the house. I tied a rope to my feet and him, to my waist and his. R will now sleep in a soft bed with me. So that baby, that kid, thank you so much, Speller. Batgirl, thank you. 26 months. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I hope she never gets out of jail, but she will. That's the saddest part is she will. So because he tried to run away, they need to conduct a better plan because they realize if he was to escape, they go to jail. Okay. And then only because he tried to run away, he now has ropes tied to him, connecting him to his mother, and he gets to sleep in a soft bed. 7 a.m. R slept. Do you know how do you know how sad that is that the only way he could be in a soft bed and close to his mother was on that basis? R slept. The devil got a bed. Jody taught exaggeration in class. Jay loaded the cooler. I put the kids in my car and took a drive. 8 a.m. Man came to look at Jody's house. 8:30. Jody and I met at the Chewitz gas station. E and J and Jody took off to Tuscan. I drove back to the house with R. He comes in the house. He doesn't leave my sight. I feed him chicken, rice, lentils, beans, but add a glass of milk. He sits at the counter and eats. He got what he wanted. I give him the book. I don't know how to say this. I'll chop it up. Something characters. He got a pen in his journal. He takes notes. Oh my gosh, I would love to see that baby's notes. Hey, Lutons. To the onlooker, he appears to be a well-behaved, studious, loving, or studious young man, and he wouldn't be, and wouldn't I be thrilled? Who doesn't think that little boy was so polite when he said to the neighbor, the gentleman, when he said, I just have two favors to ask, please. One, could you drive me to the nearest police station? And the gentleman says back to him, what's going on, young man? Take a seat. And he says, it's personal matters. 12 years old? She doesn't deserve these kids. Wow. And wouldn't I be thrilled? My son, who wanted to run away, is now by my side and reading and writing. Wouldn't I be relieved? No. I now know that in order to keep my son, I will need to put him back under sedation. Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. They were sedating him. Oh my God. Mm. I unhooked him from all the bells and whistles. What's that? All the tape and rope that was around his hands and ankles? And asked him to break and thrive on his own. And he went into arrest and stress. Back to sedation we go. The demon is still here, and I purposely put R back into a slumber. Hibernate. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. I think he said personal matters because he believed that he was going to jail. Keep that in mind. When this little boy ran away and he asked to be brought to a police station, it's because he thought he belonged in jail. He wasn't going to put his mom and Jody in jail. He was going to put himself. To watch R go into the awful state of compliance, knowing the demon he harbors in his heart, is so, so sick. Like stitching up a patient knowing you didn't get all the cancer out, and knowing it's only a matter of time before your patient kills over. She knew she was killing him. R&E do not want to repent. They hate God, per their own behaviors and words. I now see how perfectly reasonable people walk around hating God and worshiping the devil, yet appear like good old Joes. Good guys. Yeah, like you and Jody, you sick bitch. And that other woman, Pam. Get her ass too. Get your husband too. There is a soul killing infection in my child, and my hand is forced to not remove the infection. Agency does not allow me to rid the infection. Agency. Police. Police. R&E like the infection. It's so sick. 8:18 p.m. Just over 12 hours after finding R, teaching class and leaving, Jody sends me a text. I found the land. The devil does not want us to take R&E out of society. He did not want Jody finding his property. He wanted Jody and I down at the police station at 8:18 p.m., not discovering a place to bring intervention to his entanglement of my children. Oh, how good the Lord is to those who risk everything to follow him and bring others to him. The hosts of heavens are on our side. My children will never know the sacrifices of lives put on the line to offer a chance for their salvation. R can only think that he likes the taste of milk and reading again. He can only think that he likes the taste of milk and reading again. I'm about to play you guys a video in just a minute. Thank you for bearing with me through this nightmare. July 16th. Last night, I tied myself to R. Full night of sleep. As I say, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. No interruptions. R showers while I watch. 12 years old, he's being washed as he showers. Do you guys see how skinny he was? Trigger warning. I'm going to offer a trigger warning because I am going to show this little boy's back. 1, 2, 3. Tell me that's not horrific. I can see the closet door as I shower. R eats chicken, rice, beans, lentils, and cheese on a corn tortilla. 3 sets of 10 push-ups. Reads whatever. Jody is on her way home. E spent the ride lying down with face facing the back of the seat. She doesn't know where they went or why. So she's lying in the back seat facing the car seat. Yeah, it's absolutely horrific. One might ask, as I myself have, what if we had taken this slower? Yeah, what if you didn't abuse your children for that long? Huh? Slower your abuse? Damn near murdering them? Okay, thank you, Love and Laundry. You're right to sin or not in LDS Church. So the agency was not referring to police. Thank you. Would the children have been on board if we hadn't boundaried them so quickly and so clearly? So remember, these children went from this, from this to this quicker than most of us could blink. What if instead of a full day of box carrying, we would have done an hour and breaks and reading and then back to boxes? My answer is, well, yes, the kids would have complied, but they would not be repentant, and they would have given the impression they were repentant. They needed things to get hard fast, intense, shock and change, immediate discomfort, stress to their systems. Why? Because they divulged their secrets. They could have confessed in truth, taken personal responsibility for the discomfort they were causing. So they were to blame for abusing themselves. Hey, Chris. Change the environment of the kids slowly and more reasonably or comfortably, we would have allowed the dumb hypnosis and sleep to stay over the child. We needed to wake the child up to the state of reality. The child. It's no longer her children, it's the child. Show them where they really are, the pit of hell. The hope was that they would choose to go to God for forgiveness, to admit their awful state. Instead, they hid. They wanted to lie to themselves that what they did wasn't that bad, that they were the victims. They, me and Jody, are the prosecutors. That me and Jody are the prosecutors. That burden in hell isn't real. That God is that mad and that God doesn't even exist. They denied the power of God. Oof. As a community public nurse, I've seen my share of abuse cases in real life. These children fell through the cracks of the system that failed them. I hope they get the right help, their mental health, physical help too. Welcome back, Kathy. I don't understand any father agreeing to stay away from their kids. Well, he was fully on board, if you ask me. It's beyond obvious. It's beyond obvious. When he went to the police station, nobody contacted him yet. He didn't even bother to ask about his kids. He knew what happened. He knew. He knew. I told R today that he is sedating his choice to do wickedly. I don't want that anymore. I don't want that anymore. My response, yes, you do. You stood alone with only you and your choices, and you literally would stand on it. You ran away. You refused to stand with your choices, and you are in the house with milk, AC, and a book, and you quite you don't like it, don't you? You quite like it, don't you? Yes, ma'am. So this child being given shelter, milk, air conditioning, and a book, he is expected to have complete gratitude. Yes, ma'am. If you really didn't want evil anymore, you would say, Mom, Thanks for the book, but I want to do boxes today, or I want to stand with my choices. You won't do that, will you? No, ma'am. Good on him. Good on him. No, ma'am. See, I want to make it clear to you. You have not made any shifting or change. You are damning your soul. R goes back to writing. Yes, ma'am. Weak minded, undisciplined brat. Note to myself, I never clearly saw the devil and wickedness until recently because I didn't see evil clearly. I didn't combat him. I paddled full and whatever, wickedness. My love of God was sincere, but assumed others' love for God was sincere as well. I was deceived. Because Jody opened your eyes, didn't she? Hmm. Wednesday is completely blackened out. That's how bad it is. July 23rd. To begin a separation from evil toward God, all the darkness needs exposed to light. And once the cries of sin is revealed, the body must engage in good work. And the God work needs to be painful. Otherwise, the service becomes another feel good distraction. A day of fasting and prayer for me after learning my children have been spawns of Satan. R has been out of control. P, poop, lie, steal, run away. E, crying, wailing. You could not know what this has been like unless you were here. Jody and I took E out to the desert. She refused to stay quiet and would scream and scream. Jody found a reservation cemetery. Something cemetery. She went out in the heat, barefoot. E still tried to run. She screamed for another family, water, food, care, love. Oh my God. She screamed for love. 10 years old, she screamed for love, for a family. A manipulative ploy. You are loved and blank, blank, blank. After a couple hours, screaming and speaking nonsense, Eve finally laid down in the road quiet. In the road. Oh my God, she's a little girl. She's like, done. She's done. We took her home. We took E and R and Jay the next day. E and R barefoot to increase the discomfort and decrease the running away. The task at hand was to weed the cemetery. Huge sagebrush, pokies, thorns, broken glass, garbage over full, and they're barefoot. They're barefoot. I spent a couple hours filling black bags in Jody's truck bed. The kids began to mellow out a bit. R looked for shade and cheated. We went out the next day and again today. 5 hours of weed pulling. R finally started getting the hang of it. This is getting easier. I feel like I'm getting stronger. I want to pull the weed out of my heart. What am I doing with my life? I don't want to live like this anymore. All children need these experiences of pulling obnoxious weeds, sweating in the sun, working while thirsty, and knowing and what doing an anonymous act of service feels like. They are each beginning to see how nice the cemetery looks after days of their hard work. Yesterday, R was devious and put his head in the toilet. He said he was hot and wanted to cool off. Jody and I reflected how disgusting and deviant that is. It's a problem that R has no problem being gross. He stuck his head into a toilet because he was hot and thirsty. 7 to 8:30 a.m. women's group. 8:30 a.m. Ruby takes E, R, and J to the cemetery. Each child is given a bag to pick up broken glass and weeds. We work for about 15 minutes and a red vehicle with a woman, Indian, shows up. She sits and watches us for about 15 minutes, taking pictures or video. I tell the kids to stay right by me and keep their faces from being pictured. We continue to pull weeds. The woman gets out of her vehicle and walks towards me. What are you doing here? You don't belong here. This isn't your land. You're trespassing. I tell her I'm weeding. She tells me, how would you feel if I came and poked around your cemetery? What are you stealing? Me? Nothing. We are weeding, picking up trash. She wants to know what's in the bags. I say weeds and broken glass. You can see for yourself. She tells me to leave the bags and get off her land. If only she would have called the police, huh? It's not good enough for you that you come and take all our land and now you want more? What you have isn't good enough? You have to come take our cemeteries too? What's wrong with you? You were not raised right. So much disrespect. I told her I do not mean any disrespect and I'm honoring your people. I'm offering. She would not let me get any words in. I collect my children and walk to the car. She yells at the kids that they will grow up to be just like their mother, white and full of privilege. Mind your own business. Get out. I'm filing a police report. Gosh, I wish the police would have came. I tell the kids to get into the car and she wants me to wait so she can get a good photo of us. The license plate. I don't think so. We drive off as she stumbles to get her camera app up. This woman was projecting all her anger and aggression onto me. She told me I was walking around acting like I owned the place, and when that is what she was doing. She wasn't raised right. She was disrespectful. We leave. Talked to E&R about how this woman was attacking us with her distractions. And a couple days ago, we met a woman who thanked us for helping to keep the graveyard clean. And now this woman tells us we are aggressive when really she is the aggressor. I told the kids is exactly what they are doing. I'm helping them and they reject my help. God sent me to help them repent and they turned me away. The kids seem a bit affected because they are so numb. I don't know how long it will hold. R is very emotional. E, not so much. She is seeing and hearing evil. I told her that she invited evil. It's her charge to now send them away. You created this, E. The good news is because you created this, you can destroy this. Send them away. On August 1st, Jody went to Tuscan today to look at property of 500 acres. E and R are both defiant and unwilling to soften. E, this week, purposely screamed outside. Jody and I accommodated her and took her to Hell Hole Road. Yes, there is such a road on your way to Las Vegas. She was to run on the dirt road. She ran for a bit and then started manipulating. I told her to run up an incline on a hillside, touch a tree and return, 100 yards max. She threw herself into a tree. Jody pulled her out, breaking her flip-flops. After an hour of E jumping in bushes, we get in a truck to find a cactus. Blank walked right up to the cactus and threw herself into the middle of it. It was unhumane. She acted like it didn't hurt at all. She cuddled right in. I watched her press her foot up against a cactus ear. I watched with my mouth open. She is so numb. Oh my gosh. This little girl threw herself into a cactus. She was disciplining herself. Self harm. She was done with life. I think they were as well. After being cozy with the cactus, E got up and spoke with Jody for about 10 minutes. Jody and E walked to the truck and I rolled down the window. E said, "May I have permission to speak?" Yes. "Can I have another chance at running the hill?" Yes. We get in a truck and drive to the hill. E gets out and comes to my window. "Mother, what would you like me to do?" I instructed her to run to the dead tree and then come back. Eve replied, "I would rather jump into a cactus." What evil! What deception! This girl would choose to be shot and die than to humble and do what she is told. There is no pain point where she will turn. The next day, July 30th, Sunday, we put E in the closet and contemplate what to do. She screams much of the day. She doesn't get water, she screams. She refuses to eat. On the 31st, Jody wakes up from a dream. God lets her know we have done everything we can to get E attention. What are you going to do? You're going to fucking kill? You're going to kill the child? The Lord says, don't continue these physical interventions. They will only bring resentment. E is angry about her feet, dress her wounds, and leave her to me. This intervention gives the opportunity for E to soften and see that we aren't hurting her. Jody cleansed her heels. The hydrogen peroxide didn't sting because E is numb to it. She's numb to the pain. The spirit was very strong, as Julie and I witnessed, Jody cleaning what didn't deserve to be cleaned. After dressing the wounds, Jody carried her back to the closet. Carried her back to the closet. She couldn't even walk. Who's Julie? Who's Julie that witnessed this? E did scream and sulk and ask for water. I gave her lunch, left over several meals she wanted to eat, and she finally ate. I gave her water and then scriptures. This is the first opportunity to have reading material since coming to Jody's. I fucking hate this woman. When you see God, he will judge you out of these books. Did you honor your mother? No. Did you keep his commandments? No. Did you repent? No. You are in big trouble. You better get really familiar with what's in here. R's feet are swollen from standing. He is angry. Nobody cares. I told him he is acting like a man having a heart attack and gets his feelings hurt because nobody cares about the silver slither in his finger. When your soul is dying, nobody cares about your feet. Holy fuck. I mean, holy, Julie's the older daughter. Okay, why isn't Julie? Why aren't any of these other people in trouble? Would you guys rather continue reading this, or you want to see one of Ruby's sisters and what they had to say after failing these children? Put a 1 for continue reading. Put a 2 if you want to see what her sister had to say. Julie is a minor. Jody are still away. E is distracted by being in the house, getting socks, being held and carried, and out of the elements. She reads her Bible. She ate her beans and rice and chicken. She is quiet. R sat outside yesterday, didn't manipulate. I asked R why he didn't manipulate yesterday. He said because he wanted to change. I said, no, that's not true. You didn't manipulate because you weren't uncomfortable. You weren't hit. You weren't hit. So ask why he didn't manipulate and then tell him he's lying. He pooped himself. All right, thank you. Me too, because I can't with this. Thank you, guys. Oh my goodness. Ooh. I will warn you all, I hate this woman as much. She had a platform. She was an adult. She could have spoken, helped.
I don't want to see you fish again. The fishing is getting excessive. I know. Fishing is something that I can film that I don't have to show my face a lot.
Oh, shut up.
Fishing is something that I can show that is a distraction for my kids, for myself. Fishing, I don't have to talk about how I'm feeling or anything. And
oh, the luxury of fishing. I don't have to acknowledge the fact that I knew my nieces and nephews were being abused for years. With fishing, I fuck you, lady. Fuck you. This lady should be in trouble too. Exactly, Chris. Every adult in a kid's life failed them. Every adult. Yeah, let's hope no YouTuber gets a hold of their foster parent, right?
It takes me out of my current reality. Fishing is something that I don't have to narrate. So I know. I agree with you. Why are you deleting comments? We are not stupid. We know you're deleting comments. You're not hiding anything from anyone. If you weren't guilty, you wouldn't be deleting comments. You know we're right, and that's why you are.
Yep.
I'm deleting comments.
Yes, this is her sister. This is Jody's sister. They abused children, amped it up on their own kids. All the people that didn't get charged should at least have no contact order. Ruby went no contact extended family. They did try to say they reported, but no evidence of it. Not only that, Queen Bella, but she has a large platform. This lady here has a large platform. She could have spoken out. She could have fought.
Because you teach people how to treat you.
You know what she does? You know what this woman does? She makes herself the victim. And every single time she is confronted about what her nieces and nephews went through, she makes herself the victim.
And the comments are speculation. The comments are people not having all of the information. And so naturally, they fill in the gaps.
Wrong one.
And I've done that myself when I don't have all the answers. My mind tries to fill in all the gaps. And all you do is create nonsense. And
right, you're creating nonsense. Everything she is saying is nonsense. Everything.
The reason I understand this is because I know you're trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. You're trying to figure out how something so horrible could happen when it should never have happened in the first place. So I understand why people are doing the things that they're doing. I'm deleting comments because you don't get to treat me the way you're treating me in the comments.
Oh, do the comments hurt? After what you sat by and witnessed your sister do, does it hurt? Oh, absolutely, Buttercup. Yes, there is.
It's unfathomable to me to berate someone for their religion. I wouldn't.
It's unfathomable to me to berate somebody for their religion. This is today. This is right before I went live. Unfathomable. Like she's being berated for her religion. The audacity. That's not why you're being berated. Oh my goodness.
Ever think of doing that. We were driving down the street and saw a bunch of people wearing their yarmulkes, children, their dads, and my kids asked me, "What are those? Why are they wearing those?" I simply explained that that was part of their religion, and it was a really beautiful thing to see someone believe in something. I have never, and I will never, get on the internet and comment on.
This is supposed to be her thoughts on where she stands on Ruby, not her thoughts and where she stands on religion. This isn't the fact that she is deflecting and talking all this nonsense instead of saying what the title is about. Once again, she is a victim. She is a victim of people's mean comments. She's a victim of her religion. Oh, what a victim she is. Bullshit, lady. Your nieces and nephews were victims. I can't believe her.
Someone's body. It's just I couldn't imagine how someone can do that, because I know there isn't a person out there that isn't worried about the way their body looks. And so this person that has at some point in their life worried about the way their body looks, then turns around and berates someone over the way they look.
Is this lady making any sense to any of you? Like T. Adams says, she just got back from the beach from a lavish vacation with her new BBL plastic surgery. She knew what the F was going on with her sister, and nothing. She sucks. Bye, Chris. I hope you have a good rest of your day at work. Oh, happy birthday. I didn't see you say it was your birthday. Happy birthday. Were the children paying for the women's sins in their eyes of God and their religion? Swart sale it. Swart sale it. She's going to say she doesn't judge others, and that's straight BS. She is extremely judgmental. If you aren't LDS, you are beneath them. She is playing the victim. She just wants for everybody to see her cry. Yep. This is what she did the last time she was confronted.
I've got it from every spectrum. I'm deleting comments because they don't deserve to be on my space. There are enough spots on the internet that you can go to, and
including mine. Feel free to leave any comment you'd like about this bitch anywhere on my channel. Thank you, Sarah Saris. Good to see you. 3 months. Oh my goodness, time goes by quick.
Comment whatever you would like. But on my page, you don't get to do that. All the comments wanting to know if I've seen the photos, if I knew beforehand, it's taunting. And I just can't fathom doing that to somebody.
That was the fakest cry. That was such a fake cry there. We are talking about her nieces and nephews. I cried seeing those babies' photos. And I don't know them. She couldn't even muster a fake cry at the thought of her own flesh and blood literally rotten away. Don't forget, the first responders said they could smell the wounds.
You're not saying anything about what's going on. That means you don't care.
Facts.
My brain can't even put together
Evil.
its own thoughts. There is no words.
See, she cries there. You know why? Because she's crying for herself. She is crying for herself, not for the kids. With that ugly fishing hat on. Take it off.
And I will not
hey, Gladys.
talk about them.
You won't talk about your...
so many different reasons.
Oh, okay.
But on top of everything, I will not talk about them. Because there is no one closer to being my own children than these kids.
Oh, really? Oh, then I'd love to know how your own children are living, sweetheart. I'd love to know. Did you guys hear that these they used to have like giant... Oh. Couldn't agree more.
And yes, I knew everything that was shared in the media before the media knew.
You see that? Yeah, you knew, didn't you? You knew well before anybody knew.
And I don't know what's worse, finding most of it
the
out
sister.
all in one day. You only know what's been approved to share with the media. All of those blocked out spots in the journal.
Oh, everybody, poor her. She knows more than anybody. Oh, see how she's always the problem? I mean, the victim.
All of the journals that she had that didn't necessarily pertain to the criminal case, all of those.
Put a 1 in the chat if you would love to see her journals. Oh, I'd love to see what your journals say.
You know a fraction. And everything that I learned was just in little pieces. Just little pieces along the way. So
yes,
every day I have felt like this. Every day I have felt
every day as she is fishing, she is on the beach, she's getting her new BBL. She has felt like this. Fuck you. Because she thinks her sister was right too. They think the kids are in the wrong. That's their angle. But you don't know how bad these kids acted. You don't know what they did to deserve it. I believe you. Right, Mark? She knew was complacent. She was. Look at all the ones. I would love to see your diaries, your journals.
Haunted.
A lot of word salad, Jeanette.
I did not see the photos beforehand.
When's the last time you saw these kids that were they were like your own? When's the last time you saw them? Their own father went a year without seeing them. Saw a video of hers and a daughter had casts on both arms. What happened there? She abuses her kids too. She's a monster. She does blanket training on toddlers. She's an awful witch. What is blanket training? What the fuck? Hold on. Blanket training. The practice of blanket training includes putting an infant on a blanket and then tempting the infant to reach for a rattle or shiny toy just off the boundary of the blanket. If the infant reaches for the toy and crosses the edge of the blanket in an attempt to get the toy, the child is smacked and punished. What the fuck? What the fuck? Ah. Oh, I hate these people. Did you Nonsense? I'll have to check it out. Nonsense did a whole video on it. Oh my goodness. Yup. The Duggars came up in my search. Their photo came up. Wow. Wow.
So for all of you that have been sending them to me, you really have done something there. You're doing your due diligence. Me, I. The only thing you care about is yourself. This is not about you. Get off the internet.
Amen. Me. I agree. I agree. That is all you care about is yourself. Amen, Gary. The goal is fear and obedience to authority. As a baby. Oh my gosh, as a baby.
I 100%
Me
know
neither.
who the victims are. I 100% realize that I was not the one tortured. I see so many comments. Trigger warning. This is difficult to watch. Trigger warning. Or if you need help after seeing this, make sure you get help. Make sure.
Yeah. And you know what? If you see something, say something. Dream is groups and instills fear in children. Oh my God. That makes me sick.
Sure you're taking care of yourself. All these compassionate strangers for each other. But if I say anything about how it's affected me, I'm selfish. I don't care. It's all about me. I know.
Even right there, she turned a statement and how everything's about her to being about her. That's impressive. That's very impressive.
I'm not the victim. I have been directly affected. I can't think of a way that I'm not affected by it. And
Good morning, Deanna. She's affected by mean words on the internet.
I know that people will just rip that apart. That's just the reality of it. That's the truth. How can you pretend like nothing is happening and go on posting?
Yeah, good
I
question.
think it's just my defense mechanism. Being away from everyone and everything and turning my phone off is an escape.
No, bitch. That is not what the question was. The question was, how do you continue to post and go about your daily day as if none of this is happening? How do you post about building your new expensive house and how it's taken away the joy? The question wasn't about why you haven't been online and you're taking a break because you haven't taken a break. The way she just switched all of that, professional. She is a professional word salad with dressing of bullshit. That is what she is.
And that feels good momentarily at times. There's literally nothing I can do. And the reason I
Shut up.
move forward is because I have hope that those kids, they showed a lot of fight.
Those kids, they showed a lot of fight. Those kids, your flesh and blood, not those kids, but they showed a lot of fight. Oh my goodness.
Didn't just stop fighting and just, they kept their fight in them.
No, they did stop fighting. They stopped fighting when your niece threw herself into a cactus when she laid in the middle of the road. He stopped fighting when he wrote, I'd rather be in jail. He stopped fighting when he was so tranquilized from what was going on that even poking him and putting his face into the water did not get him to respond. He was numb to it. They did stop fighting. And not a fucking adult and their lives fought for them.
And if they can do that during their torture, they can come out the other side.
Oh, isn't that what you stand by? If we can torture them to the edge, they'll be better in life. Are you condoning what happened because it's going to make them a better person? Right? Blanket training. Anybody else? Right. Does she drug and sedate her kids too? Probably.
And I think and I hope that they will have a normal as they can. This will change them forever. All of them. All 6 of them.
What about you? Has
Just
it
because all
changed you?
6 of them weren't in that room. I want the very best for all of them. And they're all going to need a lot of help.
How much help are you giving with your platform, with your income? What kind of help are you offering them? Gary, I have no patience for people like this. Amen. They didn't need to fight. They were supposed to be protected and raised safely, you moron. Blanket training.
I do not support Ruby. She doesn't need mercy. She doesn't need justice. She needs a jail cell. And
so do you.
I can't even think. I can't even think beyond that. I believe in.
No, you can't think beyond that. I can. After reading those journals, I have great ideas for what could happen to her. Great ideas, right from her own thought process.
Justice and mercy, and I think both of those come in time. I think that the mercy needs to lie at the feet of the children, not at Ruby's, and that's where I stand on that. I'm so self-conscious about saying anything about myself because the only thing that has been jammed down my throat is how
she brings it right back to herself. I'm self-conscious to say anything about myself. So tell us how you're self-conscious to speak about yourself as you're speaking about yourself being self-conscious, speaking about yourself. Oh, can we get some salads in the chat? This is the biggest case of word salad. This reminds me of somebody else. Somebody that likes to make it rain during children cases, but, don't point out her bad behaviors because she's a victim. She didn't say it.
Selfish I am for saying how it's affected me. But strangers on the internet can talk about how this has affected them. They're so sad and I can't believe this is happening, but I feel like I'm not allowed to say any of those things. I physically get ill when my kids accidentally get hurt.
She physically gets ill when her kids accidentally get hurt. Like when you were spanking them as infants because they weren't, they reached outside the blanket, like that hurt. Hey, K-Breeze. It's sick. It's gross. Plead that these children stay in the church when placing them in a home. I hope not, Laura. I hope not.
I physically get ill when I see their feelings get hurt. I feel like I go into panic mode a little bit.
Oh, me.
And as soon as I do, all I can see and hear are the hundreds of comments that I'm deleting saying, you're just like her. It's like my main point that I wanted to say was that I wanted to speak to the people that care. Because
you didn't care, did you? You sure as hell didn't care. How old are her kids? Huh. Let's look.
The people that have been mean don't deserve that time and energy from me. But it's just the reality. And so I wanted to address it. And the only reason that I feel even the slightest bit brave enough to say anything at all or to keep posting, saying the nice comments, that just doesn't do it justice. Those that hear what I'm saying without me.
Shut up. Flogger, whose self-titled YouTube channel earned over 1.4 million subscribers, her channel focuses on her daily family life as well as milestones in the lives of her children, as seen in videos like Baby's First Dentist Visit. Olivia, Cody, Lincoln, and Boston. Fellow YouTubers. 38 years old.
Actually saying it, people that actually care and actually feel bad for the situation and not
with a bigger ass,
dissecting it and picking it apart and just understanding that there is so much more to it than what's being shown and said.
That's what's worse about it. She knows the grossest, most damaging details that none of us will ever see, and we don't deserve to see. If what they allowed us to read was as horrific as it was, can you even begin to fathom what we weren't allowed to read? And she knows all of that. And what is she doing? She's sitting on a beach having surgery for her ass to be bigger. That's what she's doing. Jody's oldest son and oldest daughter went to their aunts and begged for help. They had this large platform, as I just showed you, right? Look at this large platform. Look at all the views, right? And they didn't use it to seek help for their nieces and nephews. They didn't care. And she doesn't care now. She's just publicly being held accountable, and she's the victim.
I think I just had to say something and share a little tiny piece of my heart for those that actually care. And I don't even need you to care.
We don't.
I don't need you or want you, or I'm not asking you to.
Good, because we don't
leave nice comments. I don't know. I just had to say something, and I know it's so pathetic to get online and cry, but
it's not even real. The only time she has shown actual crying is when speaking about the mean comments she is getting. And listen, I get it. Mean comments suck. I get them all the time. They're horrible. They can hit you right to your stomach. I can't imagine the level she's getting it on. But the fact that that's the only time she has any tears. This is actually her sister, Tessa. Appeal to the pedo community, kids in bathing suits, open mouth with kids at dentists, looks innocent, but is directly made to the Fed investigation to his church cult now. Ruby's oldest son is living his best life, sharing it on IG. I wish he was home helping his little brother. Yeah, I've had problems with all of that as well. Right, why is she still posting? Because she needs to be a victim. The entire family knew about the abuse and ignored it.
The whole point was to show how we live, and this is just life. There are so many ugly sides to life, and it's just not always cute. It's not always pretty. It's not always nice.
No, that's all. It's not always cute, pretty, or nice, guys. That's her message of the day. You're a monster.
I physically couldn't just keep going. It's just all too much. And honestly, I think a big reason that I just keep doing what I'm doing, because there are so many people that deal with so much trauma, real trauma in their lives, and real sadness, and real heartache.
And real heartache. Like your nieces and nephews that were tortured to the brinks of death. Like that type of torture and heartache.
And you all keep going. There's no other option. There's no other option. If you can do it, I can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
Oh, there she goes. There she goes. If you all can continue living your life, I can continue living mine.
I feel like I need to say I'm sorry. Why do I...
What?
Do it, you can do it. Why do I feel like I need to say I'm sorry? Why do I...
And right there, with those two sentences, she just dismissed her entire attempt at damage control. Did you hear what she said? Why should I have to feel like I'm sorry? Because she's not. She's not sorry. Oh, Deanna, I wish we were getting nice weather. I'm so sick of this. She is not sorry.
I know I'm not doing it right. I know
Because it's
I could
not
do it so
genuine.
much differently. I don't know how. I'm just doing what I know how to do. I'm just being myself, and I'm just saying what I'm thinking, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with just trying, I guess. I don't know. I'm sorry for getting on the internet and crying. I don't know.
I'm sorry for getting on the internet and crying. Again, she's the victim.
Thank you for being compassionate towards my family and caring about us. And thank you for reading between the lines of what isn't being said, between my forced smile.
Forced
I'll tell you
smile.
what it does show me, though, is that I really do care about who is on the other side of this camera.
So you have to convince us that you care. Forced smile? Were you forced to get the surgery? Were you forced to build a nice new big house? Were you forced to sit on a lavish beach vacation? You were forced to do all that?
I care that this is how other people feel. Different situations, but it matters to me. How other people feel, the sadness that they go through. That matters to me.
Does it?
Deep in my heart, I know that the kids will be okay. I do. I think it's going to be a really long road, but I think they're going to be okay. And I think I'll be okay.
Oh, she had to add herself at the end. Did you see her look over to read? She had to throw herself at the end. She couldn't leave it on that note about the kids. Listen to that again.
I think it's going to be a really long road, but I think they're going to be okay. And I think I'll be okay.
Oh, fuck you.
And I think my family will be okay. I don't know how to end this, so I'll just end it there.
You should have ended it at the kids, not yourself. Anyway, that is the horrific inside journals to Ruby Frank. There's much more. Mm. Look, I'm going to leave it on this note. Check this out. This is coming from a little boy who just turned 12 years old. August 6th. Our rage comes out as he can't have what he wants, which is to serve the devil, aka have no responsibility, to have me, mom, tout, toot on him, coddle him. He wants both. Feed me, hug me, be tender with me, shower me in praise and affection, and let me lie to you, abuse you. Today he raged for hours. Fuck you. At least 50 times. I'm not going to lie anymore. I'm never going to change. Take me to jail where I belong. A 12-year-old boy screamed, fuck you, about 50 times and said, I'm not going to lie anymore. I'm never going to change. Because he knew that every time he fell into his mother's narcissistic gaslighting and said that he was evil or I'm the devil or yes, I have this sin inside me, that he was lying to her and himself. He said at 12 years old, take me to jail. And when he went to the neighbor's house, that was one of his two favors, were to take him to jail. At 12 years old, he thought knocking on the neighbor's door was going to put him in jail. Not his mother, not Jody, but him. Let that sink in. He'd rather be in jail than be with his mom. Take me to jail. I hope these kids are surrounded by love, therapists, I hope they get all the hugs, the cuddles, the positive affirmations that they deserve. I hope whatever damage was done to them while in Jody and Ruby's care can be undamaged. Reading things like this gives me hope that he knew he was never the problem. He held on and knew that what he was going through wasn't right. And he wasn't willing to continue to be abused any further. He escaped. Oh, this was a tough one. I appreciate you all being here with me today. I'm going to head to the farmer's market, do my Easter shopping. I'm going to spend extra time with my kids today. Praise them for stupid things, you know? Just stop randomly and tell your child you love them. Just remind them that they're beautiful, that you're proud of them. Don't wait for special accomplishments. Don't wait, till the good grades come in. Tell your kids all the time. You get so much further. You know what the saying, attention is attention, negative or good? Make it good. Make it worth it. I can't even fathom. How many hours did it take for that little girl to come out of the closet? Oh my gosh, this was hard. Extremely hard. Again, Nonsense made a video on the blanket training. If you guys want to go check that out, this is what that family does. This is what and who they are. For 4 hours. Just Jake. That's exactly what keeps coming to my mind is Lori Vallow. Doomsday. I can't help but keep having that come to my mind. If they didn't escape, he was punished and called disgusting because he was so desperate for water to cool off that he put his head into a toilet. Yes, Joe Madre, tell other people's children come to you that they are worthy. Speak up if you see it. See something, say something. I may be live again later, Mark. If not, and I don't see you all before, I hope everybody enjoys their holiday. I hope everybody is safe and warm and surrounded by love. Hey, save the drama. Gary Mom. Hey, Mac. Great. There's another case out of Utah that's ongoing. Our 15-year-old from Provo is horrifying also. I didn't hear that, but I did have one that came up close to me that's horrific. Imagine if he hadn't escaped. Imagine a 12-year-old thinking he'll go to jail and still escapes to save himself and his sister, a brave young man. Yeah. He wanted to go to jail. At that point, he thought jail would be better. And she thought, oh, he just wants to go to jail so he can sit in the air condition on the way to juvie. I hope she rots. I hope Jody rots. I wish everybody that failed these children would have some type of punishment. And if they can't by law, then they can by public opinion. I will never loosen up on people like Miss Bonnie over here that rather cry her woe is me instead of acknowledge what she ignored for years and continues to ignore. That woman that they appeared to get the 2 older children from that she had come over to clean, I wish she would be held accountable. And yeah, and I hope they don't get out in 4 years. I hope there is no good time or good behavior and time taken off. I hope every single time they come up to a point where they can be paroled, that this right here, this journal entry right here is pulled up and thrown in her face. If you haven't, please consider hitting the thumbs up. I appreciate you all being here. I will see you all next time.